What's up, everybody? It's Vicious here, doing something a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. I know you just want to see video games, but here lately, obviously I've been looking at a lot of political content, and some things hit close to home, and some things are just plain stupid. But there's this channel, Cut. Cut is pretty progressive, I would say. I would think they have all walks of life on there, and they talk about a lot of their experiences. Some people talk about their sexual experiences. Some people talk about their experience as, a person of color. Some people talk about their experience as a white person. In certain countries in the U.S., some people even try and guess where they're from, which can be offensive, but in the way that Cut presents it, it's a game and everybody's down for it. So, it's really raw. It's a pretty cool channel. I would suggest subbing to them. They do some cool shit. And they have some cool games. But yeah, so this video, as you can tell, do Republicans or Democrats care more about Black lives side by side? Cut. I don't think these people actually are side by side. I think it's just like the side by side comparison. So let's get into it.
Black Lives Matter, all lives.
Oops, let me change my audio. I keep changing my audio off because I don't want it to just go to my mic. All right, there we go.
Black Lives Matter.
I guess all lives matter.
Why that?
Because I feel like my life matters too. And I'm not black.
Okay, so I can never tell if they're actually side by side. So they're probably going to show them again in the video, but I definitely mirror how she feels, and yeah.
I'm not black.
So here's the thing. Now, this is shot in the U.S. This isn't in somewhere in Africa where the population is densely blacker than white or anything. If you actually do the research, at least 75% of America is white, and only 13% is black. So even though we're some the higher populations, we're still a very small population. So basically, I'm trying to tell you that when we get killed at half the rate, and there's that much of a disparity in the percentages, yeah, we're going to say Black Lives Matter, especially considering all the things that black people have contributed to the United States of America. I mean, come on now. This is going to be a rough video.
Hi there.
Hello there.
I'm Ryan, and I'm a Republican.
And I'm a Republican.
Oh my goodness. POC Republicans are always freaky. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Because it's they're voting against their own interests, and they're calling all the other POCs lazy or, weak or something. That's normally what I get out of that. And we'll see what happens.
I am a Democrat.
And I'm a Democrat.
I am part of the Democratic Party.
What are some stereotypes
Yes,
about
you are.
Republicans?
We're all old, rich, white guys. Southerners, uneducated.
Non-inclusive.
Probably doesn't like different people.
They're all religious.
That they're hyper religious and just really hateful.
What do you think Republicans said are stereotypes about Democrats?
We don't have a backbone. We don't want to work for anything. We're communists.
They want to.
I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with being a communist or a socialist. It's just that the Republican Party is just so fucking stupid and hung up on World War II that they just can't figure out that there are some things within those government types that are pretty interesting and could benefit a lot of people. I think it'd be interesting if the power of labor was in the power of the laborer. I'm sorry, did I explain that incorrectly? Sorry, I'm trying to get into this, but basically laborers control the means of production. So that's what I understand socialism is, meaning basically you don't pay for everything, but you have a stake in what's going on in your place of work. Does that make sense? So you can't just have a manager just be like, oh, you're fired because you didn't come in while you were sick and your leg was broken or some shit like that. You'd be able to control what type of sick policies you have with your other workers is something that you would come to an agreement on. That's how I understand socialism, but then again, I'm not that deep into it. I think I'm leaning towards socialism. I think most of the young population in the U.S. is leaning towards socialism because this whole capitalism nonsense is yeesh, it's killing us.
To turn the country into a dictatorship.
They're the party of diversity. Interestingly enough, the majority of the Democratic Party is still white.
What's something
Well, hey, consider this, buddy. 75% of the U.S. is white. So if 75% of the U.S. is white, that means that if most of the Democratic Party is white, then that is actually correct. You can't have most of the Republican Party be black because there's only 13% of us in the United States. Now, I didn't look up the other races, but the other races, it's a little dicey there. Like, for instance, the Latin Americans, they vote for Republican every so often because they get like, I don't know, it's like they get domesticated into that party or something, even though they're in the party where most of the people in that party fucking hates their guts. You know what I mean?
do you find annoying about Republicans?
I feel like Republicans just kind of think they're right and they don't really want to listen to what anyone else has to say.
A lot of Republicans tell me I am not a real Christian because I vote Democrat and because I am pro-choice. My political affiliation has nothing to do with my faith.
Yeah, that is actually true. I live in Indiana, and I've lived in Indiana my entire life. It's a heavy Republican state. Our governor actually does not think that it should be codified that interracial marriage is something that can be allowed in every state. This motherfucker Mike Braun said that he thinks that it should be left up to the state's decision, which is fucked up because they think that that's like a good way to tell people, hey, it should be left up to the state. That's the freest way we could go. But look what happened with fucking abortion. Like, look how many states are saying, nah, you can't get an abortion here. You have to go somewhere else. And if you go somewhere else and get an abortion and come back here, you'll be fined or some shit. I don't know. I think that's the deal in not Texas, but there's a lot of southern states that are like trying to push abortion out. Indiana was sus for a while, but I think Indiana is actually going to keep abortion. I have to look into it. Like, take that with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not that knowledgeable on the whole abortion thing because we're like a couple months removed from the decision and like still some things are getting figured out, but women's rights are on the ballot every time. And most Republicans are actually against being able to choose if you can have an abortion. And think about this. If you get an abortion because it saves the mother's life, you could also be in trouble. The doctor could get in trouble in some of these states. So that part is like actually 100% correct. Like if the mother is about to die, like they could actually still get in trouble.
What's something you find annoying about Democrats?
They have a way of expressing their concerns in a more obvious ways, protesting, marches, and so on.
I hate Republicans when they say shit like that because there's no way you can you could like satisfy a Republican when you're trying to get your point across. You can't do it politely. You can't do it in a protest. You can't do it by riots. You can't do shit. And I'm not saying that riots are something is a thing that you should do, but civil unrest happens. People get uneasy. People get angry when people in their community keep getting killed. They keep getting arrested. They keep getting fined for stuff that should be minuscule. Like, I don't know, selling weed, smoking weed, things like that and the like, maybe parking fucked up or something. I don't know. Like things like that, getting slammed on your back, getting the knee put on your fucking neck in public, and, just getting mad at somebody if they're asking if they're being detained. That's not something that a civil servant should be doing. So, yeah, when you when you try to do anything involving firing back at a Republican or an authority figure that like aligns with the right wing, it becomes a problem because they're very fucking sensitive, but they love to call everyone else a snowflake.
Me being a brown woman, I feel like they're really good at like acting like they care. They're not doing anything for me. So I'd say it's better like be honest. If you say you care about me and my people, actually do something.
So this part I can sort of coincide with, but like being a Republican isn't helping that. This is what I have to say about that. There are some people who are just who say they're Democrats just to get on the side of colored people. Joe Biden did it, and that's quite obvious when he said that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's a fucked up thing to say, Joe Biden. He was a fucked up person for saying that. He was a geezer. That was really fucking racist. So that I do agree with. But when you're on the party that actually wants to actively put you into more poverty and to make it so you cannot escape from poverty by making better social safety nets through policy, you look like a fucking moron. Like, you look like you're trying to say something that's really, really, really intelligent and really, really cool to like go against the grain, but you're not helping yourself out. You're not helping us out. The people that control probably your state and control my state don't want to see us get married to other fucking people outside of black people so they can fucking continue to know accurately who to punish.
Do your best impersonation of a Republican.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Because I actually have a friend like that. I do have Republican friends, unfortunately, but they do this shit. Like, they don't cover their fucking nose, like, with the mask on. Like, I know the pandemic is something somewhat of like fizzled out, even though there's like I think it's like a new variation or something along those lines. I'm vaccinated. I got COVID and I survived. Thank God. But if they get COVID and like they got COVID because they're doing shit like this, that's not how you fucking wear a mask, man. Like, come on, be serious. Like, it's a pandemic, and like the thing is, sometimes when Republicans get COVID and they're like on their fucking deathbed, wheezing and for like days on end, they'll come back to work just like this, looking like an idiot.
Black lives don't matter, all lives matter.
We'd have some like boots. Definitely not Doc Martens. Those are Democratic boots. The Republican boots are the cowboy boots.
Do your best impersonation of a Democrat.
I would need tighter pants to really get the hipster look going.
So have
Nah, bro. You got that mustache. Like, what does this dude say? Yo, Republicans are so lost in the sauce. Like, dude, I'm wearing sweats right now. I'm a leftist.
The hipster look going.
So have you been boosted?
Take your COVID shot.
I never asked anybody if they've been boosted unless they've gotten COVID. So basically, she probably got COVID at one point. Somebody asked, like a normal individual, if they had been boosted or if they had gotten the shot, just sort of like their general safety, to see if they're going to be okay, to reassure them if they're going to be okay. And she took it in like the dumbest way possible.
Have you been boosted?
Take your COVID shot.
Take your listen, I always wag my finger and tell them to take their COVID shot. Now, normally what I've been telling people is, I'll advise people that they should get the COVID shot as I have if they ask me how it was. But if they're not going to take the COVID shot, that's up to them. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I'm a leftist, but I'm not like a soft leftist, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm going to like implore you to do it. Like, no, if you're like going to endanger your family, then that's just natural selection working its way out. Like, if you're like going to seriously sit here and have this disease run rampant and kill millions of people a year, and you're just cool with that, like, whatever. Like, if your family member dies, I'm not going to say aha or anything like that, but I will sit there and be like, you know what, I can't say I feel sorry for you and your family. Like, you didn't do everything you could to make sure that they were safe. So that type of situation. I'm not going to go aha. I'm not going to say anything on social media. It's just, it is what it is.
Your COVID shot. We must ban assault weapons right now.
Bro, look at how fucking angry this dude is because we want a ban or tighter restriction on weapons. Like, here's the thing. There have been multiple school shootings over the past like couple decades in America, right? We had Columbine, we had the shooting in Texas. Gosh, I forget the name of the school at this point, but yeah, we had a shooting on a subway, and there were all of those. Guess what happened? There was no pistol involved. It was just an assault rifle. And, we got this freak here. He doesn't see anything wrong with that. He wants to have his assault rifle that he could show his buddies and compensate for having a small penis and, go deer hunting with a fucking M4 or some shit. Like, I don't understand that.
That was the best commitment I've seen all day. Who's kinkier?
Kinkier?
Democrats. Republicans tend to have a more conservative.
Republicans tend to have missionary sex only.
One of you,
I would say Republicans. There's something about those like church girls and like the conservative people that when their world is open, they get down.
I don't know
I would say-
about that. I think leftists are kinkier just for the simple fact that leftists have like a looser sense of morality when it comes to not morality but like faith. You know, a looser sense of faith when it comes to things like that. Like they don't let faith get in the way. Like they're like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to be sexually fluent because who the fuck cares? It's my business. Like, it has nothing to do with morality. It's more like, yeah, this is my business. I like this shit, and I'm going to do it.
Say the Republicans because it's always the nice seeming people who are the freakiest.
The nice seeming people. Yeah, they do anal sex and that's it. They don't like do anything else. Nah, but yeah, I mean, I guess it could go both ways because Republicans do like to lie. Like they don't like to tell people. They're like turtles, man. As soon as you like start poking and prodding at them, like, hey, do you do this or that? They're like, no. But like that's why you find out like all these times these Republicans are like paying fucking people to have sex with them or having sex with like just barely legal fucking girls and guys. You know what I mean?
Democrats. Why do you say that?
They're very open. It's not vanilla.
Have you ever had sex with
He knows.
someone of your opposing party?
Yes.
How was it?
It was great.
Look at him.
Have you ever had sex with someone of the opposing party?
Yes. Like afterwards, they were very like.
I don't know if I can say I have.
Of it, I kind of understand because they were.
I don't know. They're political. Like I don't think I know. Like I think one was possibly Republican.
Well,
I know another one I wanted to was, but
Well,
didn't
the act
happen.
itself wasn't bad.
Who's more problematic?
Democrats.
Democrats.
The leadership of the Democratic Party, Democratic voters themselves, I wouldn't say that's the case.
What do you think the Democrats said?
Oh, they definitely said conservatives, especially after Trump. Well, she was a spicy man. But I mean, freedom of speech.
He was a spicy man. Almost got us locked into like 2 wars. Like this motherfucker like flirted with war with North Korea for like months on end. But yeah, he's a spicy man. So what? Forgive him.
Republicans. Just because storming the Capitol has never crossed the Democratic Party's mind.
Yeah, probably not. But that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. See, this is why I'm not like an actual political streamer or YouTuber because I don't know everything. I just understand what's going on in the media and I understand right from wrong. And I think I have a strong sense of justice. So like when I see that motherfuckers are storming the Capitol because a very fair election, they perceive a very fair election as a very unfair election, I can tell immediately like that's bad. But Republicans, they do shit like this. Like Trump was he was a kind of a spicy man. Like yeah, but what about when you guys killed officers? And then like one summer, you guys made it seem like we were killing all the fucking police officers when it was like 90% unviolent. Like a 90% peaceful protest, and you motherfuckers are now like, oh well.
Ever.
Both.
I don't think either group is problematic. I think the extremes of both ends are problematic.
The Republican Party is problematic, bucko.
We lock ourselves in and paint the other as the extreme, and I think, how do we have conversations?
Man, I think they refer to a dude like this as a lib. So basically, he wants us to all like have a conversation with one another. But the thing is, leftists really want to have a conversation and they really want to like get to the root of the issue. Republicans just want to be right and they want people to like give them money, basically. So like when Donald Trump was in the midst of being elected, a lot of people thought Donald Trump was going to be the greatest president ever because he was a businessman, at least at my job. And remember, I live in the heart of Indiana. So like when I go to work and motherfuckers are like, yep, Donnie Trump. And, you know, they don't know anything about his policies. They don't know that, you know, this motherfucker isn't doing anything to like put more money into their pockets. He's not trying to raise the minimum wage. As a matter of fact, he would go against that, I think. Most of his party would go against that, but they'll vote for red down the line. Like they love staying poor and they love complaining about the Democrats when they're poor because of the people they voted in.
How do we see the humanness of the other person?
You know, I see the humanness of Republicans and like right wing people in general, but it's not. They're not like the best. You know, they love to see people being detained from the southern border. They think that Mexico is filled with like drug dealers and thugs and all sorts of shit like that. That's what they go to those rallies for, bro. And I wouldn't even say they're extreme Republicans that think that. They're just regular ass Republicans that think that. Like, they'll say that shit in broad daylight here in Indiana, and it's like, dude, why do you think that people that are from the southern border are that bad? You don't think shit about Canada. They don't think shit about Canadians. They don't think shit about Europeans. But when it comes to Middle Eastern, African, or Southern American or Central American, oh my God, keep them out.
Black lives matter or all lives matter?
Black Lives Matter.
Oh, we already talked about this.
Why is that?
Because I feel like my life matters too, and I'm not black.
It's not even a thing of people don't understand the whole Black Lives Matter thing. It's they don't want to admit that they understand.
If I was to choose between the two, I'd say all lives matter. It's
course
just
you
way
would.
too encompassing the term. It's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. I believe in general that Black lives matter, but do I believe that black is...
Again, like, just like my guy just said, like, they understand, but they just try and make it into something else. Like, when we say Black Lives Matter, obviously it's because it's a protest for us being killed at a dramatic rate, with a low percentage of the population that we take up. But because this guy's a fucking moron, and because like he obviously fucking wants to like suck the dick of white people and anybody else, he wants to pretend like he wants to suck everybody else's dick, but honestly he's just sucking white people's dicks, and he's like, all lives matter. Like, yeah, thank you for protesting against us in our time of being fucking murdered and being fucking like killed in the street.
Do sadists' lives matter or black pedophile lives matter? No. I think terms like that are just way too all-encompassing and don't allow for any nuance.
Well, the thing is, there's nuance. You just choose to not understand it on purpose, or you understand it and you're just being a fucking douche.
All lives matter, of course. But
Why all
black lives matter as much as any others. When you spend so much time saying that, it makes it sound like nobody else's does.
Black Lives Matter.
See, this is the thing about black conservatism that's like really fucked up. You can never tell like how good a person is or how corrupted they are. Like, because, you know, from what she was saying earlier, she was just like, oh, well, you know, I'm a Republican and blah, 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 blah. Trump did a little couple spicy things, but now Black Lives Matter. So that's a real leftist thing. You know what I mean? This guy, what he said in theory is like a really sweet thing. Like, you know, I think all of us matter. Like, of course, but you understand that we're being killed. Like, you understand that we're being arrested at a significantly higher rate. That in America, you're more likely to be stopped by the police if you're black in the daylight, and at night those numbers even up. Like, come on, bro. Like, of course you don't, because you don't care about that. You care about all lives mattering, and I bet he doesn't even see color either. It's fucking shameful, man. And her over here, Black Lives Matter. Hey, lady, the party that you deal with, they don't think so.
It's almost like a child when it's like, why can't we all matter? That's not the point of it's not the point of the phrase. It's not always about you. We get to have a moment too.
I don't like the way she explained that. Like, it, again, black conservatism, it's a bad thing, you know, because it makes people really mixed up. You know, she started off saying, of course, Black Lives Matter, but then it came to Black Lives Matter because we have to have a moment too. It's not about having a moment too. It's about, hey, stop fucking killing us because we contribute to society in great ways, and we've been contributing to society in great ways since we fucking got transported here from Africa.
Pro-choice, pro-life.
I'm pro-choice.
Pro-life.
Pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
Why pro-choice?
There should not be anyone telling anyone what to do with their own body.
That's the first sensible thing he said.
The Republican Party, at its base, was about freedom.
Last one.
What did he say?
The
Yeah.
Republican Party.
He had to struggle to say that, and there's somebody holding his strings.
Was about freedom.
Last one. Give Republicans a compliment.
I like the fact that you are very well-spoken and stand for what you believe in.
I think that's a really good characteristic to have, to be strong-willed in that way,
Democrats know how to win. Sometimes Republicans don't.
They're very good at motivating their base. Republicans have a harder time getting people charged up and to vote.
You guys have some pretty decent concepts, like being pro-choice. That's a good move.
What do you think some Democrats say?
Okay, let me say this. If I had to say one nice thing about Republicans, I guess it is like their passion is ridiculous. Like leftists are passionate, and I think that that's a good thing, but Republicans are passionate in a way that like makes people start fucking cults and rallies. Like we need some more of that. You know, maybe not cults, but like we need people to like rally up. Republicans will go to a city town hall meeting and crash that shit. They'll go to a PTA meeting and start talking about fucking Dr. Seuss and shit like that. So like that's what I'll say about Republicans. Like they actually have the fucking energy and goal to get out and do shit. Like I just talked to my buddy, my podcast mate, about going to vote in the primaries because I voted early and there was nobody there. There was nobody there when I went. 0 fucking people. And I was like, yo, you need to come out here and vote, bro. And he was like, no, it's too late. I ain't gonna do it. Who cares? It's Indiana anyway. Like, and when I found out that we only lost by like 4 fucking percent of the votes, and I'm not exaggerating. It was like something really, really close. It was like 4%, maybe 10%. I don't know. I was like, man, you know what? If 10% more people like him got out and voted, like we might have had like a blue state by now or something. But it is what it is. But yeah. So this video is raw.
They probably struggled on that one.
Yeah, this is raw. I like this. But that's it for this video. I know it's a bit different, but I just had to, like, when I see something like that, I have to zero in because, like, I'm not the most knowledgeable on all political subjects, but I do know right from wrong, and I do know how Republicans, like, just do really weird things and when it comes to people of color. I think it's because of lack of interaction with them or lack of wanting to understand them, and that's just the way it is what it is. But anyway, if you like more content like this, just let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you later.